Hey, welcome to the DB channel with the upcoming release of BT-08. Instead of doing the usual set review, I figured it would be wiser to actually discuss my top 5 favorites in the set. So join me today as we go through my personal top 5 in BT-08. Now with no specific order, the first card we'll be looking at is Kimeramon. Now, easily the best card again right now in both gameplay and deck building perspective. Let's first go through on what it does. So it does allow you to progress with any level 4s, so there's no color restriction on that. And with the first effect, when you do Digivolve, you can actually put one level 5 or lower Digimon card from the trash to the bottom of this Digimon Digivolution card. Then until end of your opponent turn, up to 4 of your opponent Digimon do get -1 KDP for each color that Digimon has. And the last effect will be this Digimon actually gets the color of its Digivolution cards, so when this Digimon has 4 colors or more, this Digimon does get +4 KDP. Now after going through the effects, we can conclude that Kimeramon has max potential to be splashed in every single deck out there. It being the first official rainbow card aside from Susanomon, which is a level 7, this is a good card as it is a level 5. It allows you to combine the best of your colors, evolution, sorcerer skills and make it into one beast of a Digimon. A good example would be Daemon. So through Kimeramon, you are able to chuck that Savior Hawkmon below and combine the Bao Hawkmon and the Systemon Noah that you have spawned for free thanks to Daemon. Now Daemon used to face an issue whereby it has to breed it safely in nursery. Now with Kimeramon, however, it now have a huge flexibility as well as an alternate win condition. Now Jogress is basically a rush skill, so you can actually go pretty aggressive with Kimeramon. So finally, that -DP to opponent board for each color under Kimeramon means you can actually potentially deal with the annoying Gazimon clones, which is usually 2 KDP. So overall, a super solid card with so much potential to explore, and I can't wait to see how people are gonna abuse it in gameplay wise as well as deck building. Now moving on to the next card, it will be BlackWargreymon. Now as a kid, I've always preferred the villain counterpart of the hero, and BlackWargreymon was one of them. So it has the edginess and the coolness, and it does not disappoint with this version in BT-08. Now with the first effect, when Digivolving, when this Digimon has a red card in its Digisource, you can choose your opponent's Digimon. Well, similarly with a black card in your Digisource, you can choose your opponent's Tamer with a combined play cost of up to 6, and you can delete those cards. Now with the second effect, once per turn on both players' turn, you can actually unsuspend this Digimon if our opponent's Digimon is deleted. Now able to threaten both Digimon and Tamer in a single card has been what Black is looking for so long. Now the condition to have both color and Digisource is not hard given the support we have in this set. In worst case scenarios, this card is still able to deter opponent from setting up too long, especially those Tamer matchups. Its second effect is alright, but it can threaten as being a 2 blocker in one, because if you do have the Greymon under its Digisource, you can actually gain the blocker inherit ability, and then when you do block your opponent Digimon, it's counted as deleted, so you can actually restand it and being a 2 blocker in one. Now this is definitely a card that I want to try in my future decks to come, and I look forward to letting you guys see what I have come up with. Now moving on to the third card, it will be the 4th Grade 7 Demon Lord. It is a secret rarity, ensuring that effect has got to be promising, right? So the first effect, when Digivolving, you can trash 2 cards from the top of your deck for each of your opponent's Digimon. Now when 4 or more cards were trashed by this effect, you actually can play a level 5 or lower purple Digimon from your trash without paying its cost. With the second effect, when attacking once per turn only, for every 10 cards in your drop zone, trash the top 3 cards of your opponent deck and this Digimon gain +3 KDP. Now the effects looks very tame and well balanced, but actually screams a lot of potential in combo decks. With opponent having 2 Digimons on their field, you can actually spawn a purple level 5 Digimon without any restrictions. Now this will include the Cerberus Werewolf mode, the Lucemon Fodder mode. Now Werewolf mode allows you to potentially gain 9 memory in the same turn, extending a number of sick plays such as evolving to Omnimon Zwan, and then you keep looping the same thing. On the other hand, the Lucemon Fodder mode has a very strong on-call skill, threatening your opponent's spot. One can argue that having 2 Digimons on the opponent's field is as tough as opponent can just play around it. However, I beg to differ that your opponent will be taking the time to threaten your security when your deck requires the time to be actually baked. What I'm trying to say is that this deck actually is a setup deck, and you can actually potentially just kill your opponent without actually doing the loop, because you'll be playing the Omnimon Zord package, but definitely there's a lot of ways to actually play this card, such as the milling card effect. Furthermore, the new Mill synergy that Purple has got going has many potential in synergizing with older cards such as Jackraid. Now milling opponent cards has always been a cool strategy, and welcome to the TCG. Back then it was only Megidramon who could do it, but now it does have a complete partner, which is Daemon. A very high potential purple card that enables synergies to happen, and I'm truly excited for what is to come, especially with the deck list that can synergize with this card. Next, we do have an option, it is Cohen. For each of your opponent's Digimon, reduce the play cost of this card from hand by 1. And the effect is, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with 6k DP or lower. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot play Digimon by effect. And the security effect, well, is to resolve this card's main effect. So a ball-white card with it being cheaper when your opponent has more Digimons, so this outright punishes deck that aims to stack their board and go for the lethal, especially the Rookie Rush players. And let's not forget that now this covers 6k DP below, so opponent no longer has bigger rookies that can actually withstand this power, so they'll be potentially board wiped every time. And let's not forget about its secondary effect, which can stop opponent from calling Digimon via effects. This puts a halt to potential loop decks that people love to do, especially with the Zwart and White Omni option, and this includes Lord Nightmon and Jessamon. Now this is a very welcome card to the Digimon TCG, so we have to see how flexible this card can fit into decks. But definitely this fits nicely into the security control players because, you know, it's a burn option and opponent or rather security control players always love their board wipe cards. Lastly, we have Yuji Musha, the ex-antibody support tamer. Now if you guys do follow me on Twitter, you guys will have already known that actually I bought Alphamon with a hope to making it good, but unfortunately in BT-06 itself, it doesn't really have too much of a hope. Now let's talk about the effect first. The first effect, when during your turn, when your Digimon with X antibody move from your raising area to the battle area, you can actually gain 1 memory and draw 1. The second effect, when your black Digimon with X antibody attacks, you can actually suspend this tamer to put an X antibody card from your hand to the bottom of that Digisource, and then you can actually play this card without paying its cost in the security, so basically like every other tamer. Now Alphamon was released way back in BT-6 and it finally received a massive support here in BT-8. There was support in BT-7 but it felt like half of the support. Now with this tamer, your power play during your turn increases a lot more. With its first effect, you can now start the turn off with just as little as 1 memory to start your combo off. As it being a tamer effect that gains your memory, you're no longer liable to be choked by opponent's memory plays and Gazimon clones alike. Pairing this with the Hisarayumon, a new level 5 introduced in the same set, you can actually go into Alphamon with just as little as 2 memory, which is very possible thanks to this tamer. Now this really helps out by making Alphamon feels more fluid to play into, rather than just one stale Digimon that requires you to have those default 3 memory tamers to begin any plays. The second effect is really what makes X Antibody shine as well. With you now easily able to chuck in any X Antibody card from your hand to Digisource, you actually open up plays that you wouldn't be able to do with Alphamon then. Obviously, the card to chuck into your Digisource when evolving to Alphamon would be the Oyumon, which is the new SR in this set, allowing your Alphamon to restand the same turn and then gaining a bunch of memory. Now imagine a scenario whereby you do have a bunch of Yuji Musha on the field, you can actually keep buffing your Alphamon with a bunch of ESS skill, making it a very beastly Digimon. I really love the support X Antibody has been provided in this set alone, making it a very solid archetype deck that people such as me who invested in Alphamon way back in BT-6 can finally enjoy how it is a good card. With that, this concludes my top 5 in BT-8. So what are your top and favorite cards in this set? Do let me know down below in the comment section and I'll be interested to discuss it with you. Thank you guys for watching till the end and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.